and welcome to a special episode of We Don't Have a Name for This, other than the story of us.
This is our 150th video by count according to YouTube. However, I have a feeling that there might be some stray TikTok-y type videos that are lingering out there somewhere that may make it more than 150, but for the sake of argument.
And like TikTok videos don't always have both of us in them. Some of them have just Joel. Some of them have us in a car. Some of us...
True.
I mean, you know, yeah.
So go check out TikTok for the Newlydeads. There may be some more stuff coming up there at some point soon. We're currently being stared at by our dog, who's hungry and probably upset that we're not feeding him.
Yes.
But he's not hurting for food.
He can wait.
Anyway, but yes, there's some fun content on there and maybe some more to come. But I'm Joel.
I'm Laura.
We are the Newlydeads, and we've been teasing this for a while now. But I thought, you know, for people who are new, people that know us, people that maybe know us but don't know us, for this kind of monumental occasion.
Know us but don't know us?
Yeah, like they know us but they don't know, like, they're like acquaintancy type people, or people that are friends, because you have friends that you don't always know like all their history. You're friends with them.
Yeah.
So I figured it's a good way to kind of get to know how we became the Newlydeads.
How did we become the Newlydeads?
That is a question we are hopefully going to answer in a fun and entertaining way. That was kind of a puker voice.
Yeah, it was.
Kind of.
All right, you want to start?
So I figured, I've been kind of kicking this around, trying to figure out what's the best way to attack this. So I figured prior to us meeting, I'm born and raised in Kansas City, Missouri. Lived there until I was 18, left to go to school in Chicago. Went to school for 2 years, studying to be in secondary education, art and English. And then in my second year, I came across the radio program, decided to transfer to Columbia College in downtown to get into the radio program. And during orientation, I ended up deciding to get into the... Hi. Apparently Shaggy wants to sit with us.
Should we have him sit between us?
I don't know that we have a choice. He's kind of big, and
he is our newest child.
He apparently wants to take the place of Bailey. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Shaggy. For those of you who don't know,
he's not on camera a whole lot. He's usually off to the side, and
he's making a little happy noise right now because it's kind of his purring. But anyway, so then while I was down there, I went into a seminar about the film program that they have, which is kind of what Columbia is known for, film and radio. Got into that program, screenwriting and directing. Did that for 2 years, ran out of money and patience, because when you've been in school since you were 3 years old in preschool, and then went to all of school, all of college, all of high school, you get kind of burned out after a while. And like I said, I didn't have any more money, so I was already working at a record store and a video store, along with going to school. So I stopped doing that during the course of that. I got married, and then eventually from there moved back home to Kansas City, then moved from there to Colorado. During the course of that, had a couple kids, and then moved back to Illinois, then got divorced, and ended up where I'm at now. So what about you?
He's got a very, moved a lot of different places, whereas I have lived in this area my whole life. I lived in McChesney Park most of my, childhood up until, 6th grade, and then I moved to Candlewick Lake, which is in Poplar Grove. And I went to the Belvedere school system, and lived in Belvedere, Illinois, up until I was in my 30s. I was married previous to this gentleman right here. And after I got divorced, I moved to Rockford. So I lived in Rockford. I bought my first house when I turned 30, and then lived there until I met Joel.
Which, incidentally, fun fact, this is the trivia portion of the evening. There will be a quiz at the end.
Me or you?
for Shaggy, because
Oh.
he's the newest member of the family, so he doesn't know everything yet. But when she moved to Rockford and I moved back to Rockford into the current home that we both live in together now, what we found out after we met each other is that we only live 7 minutes apart.
Yeah. I know. He said he lived on the west side, and I was like, where at on the west side?
And then I told her, and
He said
she's
by Auburn
like,
High School. I'm like, I live down the street, off of Auburn Street. So, yeah, I am not quite sure what's happening with our dog.
he's very
cuddly.
affectionate right now. He's been starved for attention.
Oh, yeah, never.
He's been busy outside playing in the snow today.
Yeah.
So incidentally,
But
yes.
I
so
just got home, so maybe he's just missing me.
that's probably true.
We'll go with that.
So yes, we are both formally married the second time around.
I do not have any children. I do have lots of hairball children, if you want to call these.
We're both dog
Things.
people for all intents and purposes. Not that we don't like cats. She's had cats.
Yeah, I loved my cats. I've had guinea pigs and hammers.
She
Hammer
loves
rammers.
guinea pigs.
I do. I had guinea pigs. That was my very first pet when I was like 10, I think. My grandma got me one.
And I had a guinea pig as a kid. I had lots of hamsters. Apparently I had a turtle at one point. I don't remember. Fish. But, then since growing up, we've had, I've had a couple of bunnies, fish. We still got, we talk about Jack sometimes. And then we have currently our 3 dogs that keep us pretty busy, along with two teenagers. But the way that we met, which is kind of, I guess, probably why everybody is not here, but this is why I kind of think we're here, is we both were doing the dating app thing, which I guess, when we were previously with our significant others, we met, I think, probably through more traditional channels.
Yeah, I met my ex-husband in high school.
In college, for me.
Yeah.
And so, in this day and age, it's kind of the way that people meet.
Through apps.
And we
Yeah.
both had our share of dating stories, which maybe that's another video. Because, as you know, on these apps, you get
Yeah.
a plethora of people.
I met a lot of nice people. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm friends with some of them still, and
Agreed.
I don't wish any ill will on any of them. I did meet some kind of colorful characters, colorful gentlemen that everybody knows that when you're on one of those apps, you get kind of bombarded sometimes with
Things.
pictures that you don't want to see and
You never know what
Harassment.
you're gonna get. Yeah.
but I was on the free one, Plenty of Fish, for a really long time, and kind of gave up a little bit. And then I had just ended dating somebody, and it wasn't very serious. I'd only been seeing him for a month or so, and
Same here, incidentally.
yeah,
A little
I
longer,
was.
but not.
I was like, meh, I don't know. I'm like, maybe I'll go on. Actually, I was talking to my coworker, Caitlin, and I had said, I'm kind of giving up. I'm like, I don't really want to use Plenty of Fish anymore. I'm like, and then she said, she had luck, with, and I always forget what it's called.
Okay, cute.
Okay, Cupid, yes. I want to say Bumble, but yeah, Bumble's the other one.
Not Bumble. Yeah.
Okay, Cupid. And I was like, oh. I said, yeah, I think I've heard of that one. And then she's like, it was free. She said she went, when she lived in New Orleans, that she met a few nice people on there or whatever. And so I was like, okay, and I was like, maybe I'll try it out. Shaggy, you want to finish the story? And so I went on there, and it was literally the first day or two that I was
very
on
long
there.
after you got on there. 'Cause
Yeah.
I hadn't seen you on there prior to that.
And I hadn't finished even
Ever.
there's this quiz you can take to find out your personality stuff and see if you can match with people. And I hadn't even finished the entire quiz thing yet or whatever. And normally I just kind of swipe, 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 swipe. And I Joel's picture, I would have usually swiped because he was making a funny face, a weird face. I couldn't really tell what he looked like, but and then I stopped and I was like, does he have a dog on his head? So then I was like, okay, like, you know, he's got a dog on his head. I am getting covered with hair, by the way.
To be fair, Lucy was my basset hound that's sitting right over here.
Yeah.
She was on my shoulder, like her head was hanging off my shoulder.
Yeah.
And she was being cuddly.
She was like up
as cuddly
here, I
as she
thought.
can be.
She was like on your head.
I'd
and you
have
were
to look
like,
for the picture.
you were going, ooh, or something. You were like making like a cute face.
I don't make funny faces.
Yeah, never. And so I was like, well, maybe I'll look. And so I started looking at his profile. And the more I started looking at his profile, I was like, oh, okay, he likes playing games. Because like sorry if you see hair flying around of this bucket of fur. He was like, you know, he had a picture of like where he was like playing like games with his friends. And then like,
oh, yeah.
just funny looking, you know, but every picture, Joel never makes like just a smiley, like he's always like, or, you know, like, yeah, like making weird faces. And I was like, well, he's got a funny sense of humor at least. Yeah, Shaggy. Okay.
I'm petting you. You're all right.
It's like, we all have to pet you.
Apparently. I wasn't trying to be like, you know,
yeah,
Blue Steel or anything.
He just makes, you know, a bunch of funny, like, normally you've got like these like people making poses and like putting on their best like whatever face, you know, and like, or on Plenty of Fish there was always dudes standing there with like holding a fish.
You know, because that's what you do.
Because you're on Plenty of Fish, so you're
that's
like,
what you do.
Haha, I'm holding a fish. Are you gonna sit or are you gonna leave? What you gonna do, buddy? Pick a lane.
Oh, he's picked a lane.
Okay. So
he doesn't know how this works like Bailey does.
yeah, Bailey just
gets it.
sits there and
but
he's sitting over there and he's a little like,
oh, do you want to sit over there?
Annoyed. Oh, maybe. Okay. I just think he doesn't have much room to sprawl out and he's like confused as to why I'm so close.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, he had these cute photos, and then I noticed, you know, when I'm on those dating apps, I'm always like trying to be like my best, like not best self, but like my best representation of my personality.
You always try to fit the widest demographic while still being yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is how I thought of it.
Yeah. So I put down, you know, of course, like I like Halloween. I like, I don't even remember what my like thing said. Do you remember?
I have it saved somewhere on my phone.
You do have it saved somewhere.
I screen capped everything because
yeah.
I thought it might be important later because, well, we'll get to that. But
I bet I could find it.
Yeah, I have it. I know where I have mine saved. But
anyway. So I had put down, you know, I liked Halloween and blah, blah, blah. And like on his, you know, little screen cap thing, it said he liked, it is recording, right? Okay. I was like making sure. I was like, wait a minute. That was like, because, well, like it flashed on there. It said portrait.
Oh.
So I was like.
I think because I tapped it, maybe. But anyway.
Oh.
Or that tapped it. But it's recording, yes.
Sorry. So, yeah. What was I saying?
You said you were checking Halloween.
Yes. And so his thing said, like, you know, he liked Halloween, that he liked,
Antiquing,
playing games with friends, and I was like, oh, okay, all of those are me. Horror movies, I like horror movies, you know, stuff like that, and then music, whatever, and so then did I message you?
That I don't remember who messaged you first. I'm fairly certain I probably messaged you first. Or we did it pretty close to the same time.
I think you have to like the person's profile.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Because I got really excited because, first of all, up to that point, I was doing the best version of myself thing. Because, you know, when you say on a dating app, especially if you're a dude, if you say you love horror movies and Halloween, a lot of people tend to kind of look at you sideways. Like, do you have things in your basement that I should know about? But I had been doing that for a while, and kind of the people I was meeting kind of were a little bit here and there, but it wasn't anything serious like you said. So I'm like, you know what? I'm in my mid-40s, and I'm tired of kind of this whole, like, game thing that you do when you date. I'm like, I'm just going to put myself out there, like, the realest me I can without, you know, giving you every little aspect of my personality. And within, like, shortly after I did that change to my profile, that's when I saw you. And so, yeah, I clicked that I liked, or however you do it on there. I forget how they do
Yeah,
it.
you have to, like, pair up or something. Like, yeah.
Yeah, like you wink or like or something.
Something.
And then, like, almost immediately you did the same thing back. Now, my boss had just come into town because they live in a different part of the state. They had come into town to meet with myself and our other team members that are in this area, and I had literally just gotten that from you, that it was a mutual like
connection thing. Yeah.
And so I was talking to my boss about it, which made, now she's a part of our story too. And that was part of lunch was spent with my coworkers and her. Rather than talking about business stuff, we were talking about this new girl that I'd met and how excited I was to, message her and talk to her. And so, lunch was a little bit preoccupied, but yeah. So then what happened after you did that? Because you said you hadn't finished the quizzes yet.
Yeah. So like, it shows you like the percentages that you're matched. So we started talking and I was like, okay, I'm like, this guy's cool or whatever. And so I'm just like going like
Fonzie.
He's funny, and we're like chit chatting and stuff. And, I'm like, okay, we're like 60 something percent, or
I feel like it was a little
80.
more than that.
No, it was like 16, like 5%, like compatible. And I was like, yeah. And so then I was like, oh, and then I'm like, oh, I realized that I hadn't, because like, I'm looking at like what his, like the questions that they had in there were things like what's important to you in a relationship, like what it's like deeper questions. It's not just like I
mean, there are some
like,
surface
what
stuff.
kind of things do you like to do for fun?
There are some of those
it's
too.
like, yeah, like do you believe in like this or that, and whatever. And so I was like, okay, I'm thinking about it, and then I was like, oh, I haven't finished all the questions. So like I went ahead and I finished all the questions, and then we ended up being like, what did I say, like 90?
It was upper 90s, like 97, 96. I don't know.
It was like crazy.
It was not 100%, but it was
like real
close being the identical twin to somebody.
Yeah.
Which is a whole nother story. But anyway, but yeah, it did like just drastically bump things up. So we immediately decided, not immediately, but after talking for a little bit, we decided to meet. And I think we met like, was it the first week? Or was it the second week?
We started talking in the beginning of like November, and then we ended up meeting on the 8th or whatever, because that's like our monthly anniversary.
Our anniversary. We consider the first time we met, or the first time we started talking was November 8th. And
no, the first time we started talking was the week before that, I thought. Because like I went to go see Bill Burr on like... Oh, maybe it was the 8th.
No, it was the 8th because that's when I had my meeting with my boss, was the 8th.
Oh.
And so that's what I considered our first...
yeah, we had started... We liked each other like a couple days before that, and we started talking, I think. Like chit-chatting, like texting and stuff, right?
All on the 8th.
Oh, all on the 8th.
Yep.
Everything's on the 8th.
Yep.
Oh.
And then we got together to go out. I want to say that was 2 weeks later, because you had the first week after that you had...
It was... I know what it was.
Show.
I know. Nope. We were talking... on the 8th, and then I went to Bill Burr the next day with my friend, and I was like talking about you with him, and then he called you my schmoopy.
That's right. And you sent me a photo outside the club, like outside the venue where you went to go see him.
Yeah.
But then we opted to get together to meet, and we're like, well, what do you want to do? And we're like, oh, you could do a movie or dinner, the usual stuff that you do. And we decided to go out to get sushi.
Yeah.
And... me being nervous and whatever, I order a single yellowtail roll, which was about like 6 pieces. That was about like, I don't know, this big.
Yeah.
Wasn't very big, and no sides, and I had a drink.
And I'm like, is that all you're gonna eat? I ordered like regular sushi. I'm like, not like a roll or whatever. I got a roll, and I think I also got those crab rangoon things that they make or whatever, those crab egg roll. I was just like, that's all you're gonna eat. 6 dinky, tiny little dainty pieces of just literally a piece of tiny little bit of fish and a little bit of rice and some seaweed.
Yep. It was delicious. I mean, it was good, but it was kind of funny.
It was sad. But you're gonna say what when we first met, right? Like when we got there.
Yeah, because when I got there,
I was there first.
I saw her through the window, and I kind of had a feeling things were gonna go well, just because. Well, number one, you looked exactly like your pictures, which was super cute, and I just, you just, if you've ever had that experience before, you just kind of get that gut feeling. I can't say that I've really had that experience like that before, but I
could see him like through the glass or whatever, and he was like coming in too, and I was like, oh god, I was like so nervous.
I got her a gift,
and I got him a gift,
which neither of us knew that we were getting each other gifts.
I went to the apple orchard with my mom that day.
And I'd left mine in my car because I'm like, this might seem a little weird.
And I was like, yeah, he walked in and I was like, I got you a present.
So I'm like, oh, wait a second. And I ran back out to the car.
He's like, I got you a present
to get the gift. And I was like, at that point, I was just like, things just went from, okay, this girl is, could be the person that I end up with. And then to just like craziness. So I got her David S. Pumpkin's Funko Pop because she saw mine. Because I sent her some pictures of things around the house, as you do. And she liked it and, was a fan. So I was like, I'm going to get her one.
It was very thoughtful.
And so I got her one, and then you got me.
I got him some, it was Chucky stickers, right? And like...
You got me a Chucky sticker, that like what you get out of a vending machine.
That's what I got him out of.
She's a bowler and was in a bowling league at that point still. And... You like to get like the coin operating vending machines or the claw machines.
That one wasn't from a claw machine though. I got that at a restaurant with my mom and dad.
It was a vending machine though, right?
We went to the Boone County Fair, or Boone County
things?
Corner restaurant or whatever.
Which is a good restaurant, by the way, if you're in the area.
Yeah.
And then you also got me...
I got him some donuts from the apple orchard. Which
are delicious. Again, if you're in the area, you want to go to Edwards. Kieran's is okay, but Edwards is the way to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we both got each other gifts, which was strange,
adorable.
But just the way that we are, that's the story of how our whole lives have been so far. Then after that, we talked about going to see a movie, but we're like, I don't know, why don't we just go back to my place? I know that sounds like
I said it.
Yeah, it's not like I was like, hey.
I don't want to go to a movie. Like, we were having a good time, like, talking and stuff, and I didn't,
Which, incidentally, one of the first things I noticed as we're sitting there, and I figured it partially was because you were nervous, and maybe it was just me being overly sensitive, but she was a little loud. And I'm
loud.
She sometimes
when I'm excited.
Your voice gets elevated when you're excited. Not in an annoying way. It just was kind of cute, and I just remember that really well. We decided to come back here to this house, to this very spot. Different couch at that point.
Thank God.
That couch is long gone. I hate that couch. But that couch is the first place that we sat together.
It's part of our history.
It was. It's where I proposed. Yeah, that sounds sad, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But
it's not sad.
No, not the proposal part, but the fact that it was on the couch, that I hated that couch.
Oh.
But yeah, so we sat here and we talked, and there was no funny business for all you out there that were like, you guys were really fast on the draw, weren't you? No, there was none of that. But I keep trying to remember when the first selfie was, and it wasn't that night, was it?
No, it was when we went to the...
It was at the Stroll on State, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember the kind of blurry one where in the dark, where
yep.
if you've got your glasses on and we're sitting here in the same spot.
Yeah.
But I'll have to include that one somewhere in here, maybe if I remember the first selfie that we ever took together, because it's cute. Mm-hmm. Back when you had kind of purpley hair.
Yeah, I'm gonna have purpley hair again soon.
So then
full circle.
She hung out for an hour or two or so, and then she went home. I stayed home, and I think we both immediately I messaged one of my best friends, and I believe you messaged... I don't remember who
Angela.
you messaged. Was it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I had messaged, I think Ashlyn and Janice, both. and pretty much said that I'm fairly certain that I may have met the one.
Yeah, that's what I said too.
Which again sounds really fast.
And
yeah. If you would have said that to each other, probably would have been like,
"You're a psycho.
You need to hit the road. You know, go get out of here," because that's a little too quickly.
Although no, like because like the next week he met my mom and dad. And
went out to lunch with them.
I ended up meeting his
my kids
and
ex-wife
on Thanksgiving because you know he doesn't really do much on Thanksgiving, or at least he didn't really do much. Like the kids were with her,
yep.
And I was out to dinner with my mom and dad, so I stopped over here afterwards.
Because I don't have any.
Did I bring you food?
Any of my family here?
I think I brought you food,
except for my former in-laws were the only family I have here.
Hey,
we almost had the light go down.
Yeah.
So yeah, and when she met them, she was wearing your Deathly Hallows dress.
I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I met her folks that next week. She met my kids and ex-wife, and then when we went to help out for Stroll on State, which is the local Christmas big extravagant thing where they light up the tree downtown and everything. And she was helping do setup for her job. I went to go help her and spend the day with her. That is when we went out to lunch with your folks. You also then that evening, after you met my ex-wife and my kids for the second time, along with her former guy and her parents, it was a big day.
Yeah.
Like everything just was like, and I mean, I knew pretty early on, and like I said, she did too, that this was not like a short-term thing.
Nope.
And probably within, let's see, that was close to December. Well, it was by the end of November.
Yeah, it was the weekend before. It's always like Black Friday weekend when they do the Stroll on State.
And then I started a couple months later because I'm trying to remember the exact time when I started working on the proposal.
January?
But it was,
I think you said January.
I want to say it was either January or February. Now, mind you, so we met November, and then by like January or early February, again, I'm not 100% sure on that date. I probably could figure it out if I looked on my original, like when I started working on the project. Yeah, I kind of already knew. Obviously, otherwise
I've been saying the entire time, I was like, this is the dude. This is the dude. This is the dude.
Which I think all of our friends were happy for us, but we're like, yeah, right.
Yeah, well, especially like my boss. My boss was like, okay, Laura. I was like, no, for real. She's like, okay. And yep. Oh, my dad said, when's the shine gonna wear off of this turd? I was like...
And to this day, I love my in-laws. To this day, he says every once in a while that shine hasn't worn off the turd yet.
Nope.
So apparently I'm not a turd, which is good.
Yeah. Or you're a very, very like thick coated turd.
Super shiny, like diamond
shiny.
Encrusted turd.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was something to that though that all of our friends, once they met each of us, like once she met my friends and I met her friends, everybody understood. Because prior to that, they're like, there's a little bit of kind of scoffing and, yeah, right. Mm-hmm. But once they met us and they saw us together and how we interacted and how we are with each other, yeah, it was pretty obvious. And then they got it, and then now they're my friends and her friends and family, et cetera, et cetera. So the proposal.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with this video because it's going to be either really long or it's going to be 2 parts. That's the thing that's kind of hard to explain without talking it out. So
should we do a 2-part?
Well, do you want to? Because we are currently at, what does that say?
Almost half an hour.
Half an hour. Nobody wants to sit for more than that.
Yeah.
So let's do this. Let's say this is part 1. We're going to close this one out, and then when we come back, we'll go through the engagement and the wedding, and that brings us up to current. So, if you want to find us, you can find us at thenewlydeads.com, which will be located where?
Right on Shaggy.
Oh, right on Shaggy. We also, you probably won't see this video before then. I was going to say we're going to be at the Halloween event, but I don't know that the video will be in time for you to go. But if not...
you're still welcome to go to Wolf Hollow, located at...
I always put the address up. Go
this address on State Street.
We'll be there the 5th, which is this Sunday of February, for the Halloween
go visit
event.
them. There is a extra special like little thing that Joel designed for one of their little bottles, and I'm sure they'll have those out like for as long as she keeps that scent out for Valentine's
we gotta make sure we grab
Day.
The melt and the thing, just because it sounds like a smell I'm gonna like. It's all those kind of earthy
sandalwood
tones.
and
we designed 4 different designs and we let them pick. It wasn't that they came and said you or you design it. We did them as a joint venture to kind of give some different spins on it. But yeah, it's available. I'll throw the picture up in here too.
Sorry, I'm picking on my dog.
But anyway, we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. And we will see you in the next one. My name is Joel.
My name is Laura.
We are the Newlydeads.
And Shaggy.
See ya. Oh yeah, and Shaggy was moaning away. We'll see you in a bit.